I've done all of Brighton.
Hello there, you loose units. How are you doing? And welcome to another episode of Spicy Boy. I'm your host, Andrew Isles. And today we're going to review a certain film, a comedy film, if you will. Could be considered a rom-com. We'll get into that in a minute. Hope you've all been well, looking after yourselves, stuff like that. Chilling over here with a beer. Loving life. What's been happening lately? Fuck all. Just been making cocktails, having some fun, and living my best life. So, we might as well get straight into the movie review today. And today, we are talking about the rom-com film Superintelligence. When a powerful superintelligence chooses to study Carol, the most average person on Earth, the fate of the world hangs in the balance. As the AI decides whether to enslave, save, or destroy humanity, it is up to Carol to prove people are worth saving. Artificial intelligence, a possible apocalypse, Melissa McCarthy, James Corden, cracking wise. Sounds hilarious? Fucked if I know. And that was the synopsis of Superintelligence, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know this film existed at all. I saw a poster once from a distance, didn't know who was in it, just said Superintelligence. I went, cool, awesome. Let's give it a go. I got up closer to the poster and I saw it was Melissa McCarthy. I'll think, fuck, alright, let's give this a red hot go. Kind of know what we're in for. And, yeah, let's get into it anyway. So, the film, Superintelligence, stars Melissa McCarthy, as I aforementioned, and the voice of James Corden as the AI/artificial intelligence. It was directed by, what's his name, Ben Falcone, that's a Batman bad guy, but Falcone, I'm going to say. He's actually the husband of Melissa McCarthy, and this is his fourth outing directing his leading lady. He also makes a cameo appearance in the film as like a CIA agent or some special enforcers, intelligence agents, whatever. But his scenes are actually quite funny. He was good. He's got good chemistry on screen. His delivery's great. He was awesome, and yeah, so he directed the film. Look, I'll be the first to admit I am not the biggest fan of Melissa McCarthy. In fact, to be brutally honest with you, she does my fucking head in. Most films. I think she's really good as a supporting actor. Don't really like her as a lead. She has that improv style of comedy where you can tell they're going off script and they're just like, oh, I'm letting this awkward situation going for way too long and now it's getting super awkward and super long. Oh, fuck, I fell over. You know, it's just like, I just don't like... I don't think that comedy's done really well with many funny actors. I think the people who get away with it the best is Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig. I think those two are genius at it. Everyone else, especially Melissa McCarthy, fucking annoying. But I have to admit, she dialed that down for this film. She wasn't as like, oh, let's let the awkward scene go on for too long and I'm just going to ramble and just go. She kept that down to a minimum. I mean, it was still there because it's a Melissa McCarthy film, but it was minuscule, and it was quite a nice surprise. The story starts with Melissa McCarthy being like an old... she's playing a loser, pretty much. She used to be this awesome tech head who had a promising future, and that was like 10 years prior, and that all ended because she worked for Yahoo. Yes, what a reference. Yahoo, for all the kids at home don't know what that was. It was the days before Google. And everyone in the cinema, all of three of us, had a bit of a chuckle when Yahoo was mentioned, and then if you think about it, long enough, because her character worked for that, all of those people were fired who worked for Yahoo. You know, probably hit rock bottom, could have turned to substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, possibly even killed themselves. But however, it was a funny reference and we all laughed. Comedy ensues when she goes for a job interview with some tech corporation. I don't know what the fuck they did, but it was very techie. Of course, there were these millennial hipster douchebags that made her look like an idiot and feel like a moron. You know, the type of those hipster millennials that work in an office in these films. You know, they had like bean bags for furniture. They were wearing suits with a V-neck t-shirt, runners, wooden jewelry, and no socks, obviously. And it seems to be, these are one of the bad guys or the people we make fun of in Hollywood these days quite often. Hollywood's got three go-to sort of evil people in films. It's either Nazis, straight white men, or these hipster millennials. Oh, they're the fucking worst. But that's what these people were. You know exactly what I mean when I say hipster millennials. It's those kind of people. But suddenly, out of nowhere, an artificial intelligence becomes self-aware through, oddly enough, like a children's plushie toy that's like becomes self-aware. It's a teaching toy, and kind of like a Furby, I suppose. And like a Furby, it dreams of world domination. So that's a bit of fun there. And the super artificial intelligence is, of course, voiced by the one and only James Corden. Why? Because Hollywood really wants to make him a fucking thing, okay? I can see why, I guess. He's the most inoffensive, soft, vanilla soy boy on television, you know? He just shits me up the wall. Like, Hollywood is really trying to drill home that James Corden is a thing. This movie is like as if the writers of Gilmore Girls were commissioned to pen a new Terminator script, okay? It's like the Apple version of Skynet. But if Skynet was an app with the voice of James Corden, going for world domination as the T-800 pounds. Nah, I shouldn't fucking say that. That's horrible. I shouldn't. That's really mean. But I just fucking hate James Corden. So this super artificial intelligence chooses Melissa McCarthy to study for the sake of humankind for some reason. Why her? Fuck if I or the writers know. It's a Melissa McCarthy movie. Shut the fuck up. Just eat your popcorn. But unlike most of these type of stories, the artificial intelligence, I'm just going to call it James Corden from now on, he makes himself known in like the first third of the film. You know these type of films where like Melissa McCarthy would be talking to herself and trying to keep it a secret that she's got a secret that she knows this artificial intelligence might be wiping out the world. Not in this film, which was kind of refreshing. Sort of everyone sort of knew about it, including the president. Everyone within the first third of the film, which was, you know, pretty cool. I thought it was something a little bit interesting. But of course, Melissa McCarthy has a sassy black friend who is sassy and tries to be funny with all that sass. The comedy fell flat, and I'm just going to say, came across as very annoying. More annoying than Melissa McCarthy. Let that fucking one sink in, okay? She was the less annoying one in this film. But I digress. James Corden suddenly puts $10 million into Melissa McCarthy's account, buys her a penthouse apartment, and then we get a Pretty Woman, Wonder Woman 27 Dresses style clothing montage in a high-end clothing store. Because statistics show Hollywood that bitches love stuff and things. The film's justification for all this spending and money in her account is that we're taking the pressure off a human's shoulders of trying to make money. They're then free to follow their heart, you know, to live life how they would live if it was their last day on Earth. And I'm starting to think that Hollywood's starting to write things that they know. Okay, I think the writers of this were writing from experience because these are the same people who vomit their political views on us poor, uneducated swine on a daily basis. So fuck those guys. They've got the money, we don't. But it was a fun little fantasy thing of like, what if you had all this money? What would you do in one day if you could? I'm just going to have a sip of my beer. A little bit of a beer break. Now this film seems like a comedy straight off the bat. But ultimately, it's a romance, and that's where the film really worked for me. We hear Melissa McCarthy talk about her breakup with the best guy in the world, and we don't know how they broke up or why, but we hear from her lips a couple of times that it's her fault. Why they broke up, don't ask questions, that's character development. We've got a fucking clothing montage to get through, so shut up and eat your popcorn, swine. The ex-boyfriend is played by Bobby Carnevale, I want to say. I don't know. He's in The Irishman and heaps of other shit. He's actually a very good actor. And I have to admit, his chemistry with Melissa McCarthy was off the charts. Really fucking good. The scenes that they had together really worked. And that was, like, I didn't give a fuck about the film. I was sort of tuning out here and there. But their scenes together were really good, and I was engaged and gave a shit. And thankfully, that's the majority of the film. And this is where James Corden plays matchmaker as the AI. He's kind of like Hitch without the sex appeal. But why he's trying to... The importance of humankind is putting these two together, I don't fucking know. Who bloody knows? But shut up and shovel that popcorn in your face. Anyway, there's a scene that's towards the end. It's pretty much the climax where Melissa McCarthy has this monologue to James Corden, or the AI at this point, who is voiced by Rainn Wilson. And it's really touching. it really fucking worked for me. She showed off her acting chops. It was really amazing. Pretty much in a roundabout way, she says how humans can do unselfish things to not save their own skin, but to help a loved one purely out of the kindness of their heart because of love. And I swear to God, it was a really good fucking scene. I got a bit choked up, I'll be honest with you. Melissa McCarthy fucking, you know, kicked it out of the park with this bit. I mean, is it Oscar worthy? Fuck no. But for this film, it was touching and beautiful, I have to admit. Long story short, spoiler alert here, the world isn't blown up because James Corden discovers the importance of humankind and love or some fucking shit like that. Got to wrap it up, that's what happens. Ultimately, this film was okay. It tried to do something different with the rom-com sort of comedy. You know, the comedy didn't really work for me, but I kind of sort of knew that going in, I suppose. Also, there was so many fucking references to other or better films, and old films as well. There seems to be a trend in a lot of Hollywood films these days. You know, it's obviously was kind of made famous with the Deadpool films, just referencing so much other things. And pretty much Marvel does it constantly, all the time. It gets a bit tiresome, and in this it was really like beating a dead horse. It was annoying. Always referencing films, it's almost like it's a cop-out for comedy, in a way. Unless, like the Deadpool films, he's referencing other Marvel films and how he's not a part of their universe at the time. That was pretty good. Yeah, as I said before, it's as if Terminator was written by the writers of Gilmore Girls, and you're pretty much halfway there. Would I recommend it? Sure. Wasn't bloody bad. It was a pretty good film, but I'd say it's more of a streaming film. I wouldn't really pay $20 to go see it. Again, I didn't know this film existed until I saw the post and went, that's the next episode. Yeah, it's okay. It's a solid 2.5, 3 stars, depending on what mood you're in. I was a little bit hungover, so I liked it. But yeah, that's it. If you like Melissa McCarthy, you're going to fucking like this regardless, okay? It's going to be your cup of tea. It's one of her better ones, I will be honest, because of the romance in it and her chemistry with Bobby Carnavale, I'm going to say. It was really good. It was really good. Pretty funny movie. Wrapped up pretty nicely. It only seemed like there was 8 locations in the film, so that was a bit weird, but hey, it was okay. Anyway, yeah, gives a kind of a thumbs up for me, I suppose. Let's wrap this episode up with a recommendation. I didn't really plan anything, so I'm just going to say I've been smashing the vodka tonics lately, so big thumbs up from me for the vodka tonics. Big fan of it at the moment, even though I'm drinking beer today. Yeah, that's my recommendation. Let's keep this short and sweet. Yeah, that's it. Again, like this clip, subscribe so you're notified when the next episode comes out. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Write down below what your favourite Melissa McCarthy film is, if you've got one. Or James Corden thing that he's done. I don't fucking know if you like him or not. Who gives a shit? But yeah, write down below if you like this film, if you've seen this film, or your favourite Melissa McCarthy film. I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, all that rubbish. And yeah, see you next time, and stay spooky, kids.